It's Mauri.
Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening. Before I get started, I'd like to thank Karen for fantastic emceeing. So let's give her a hand, first of all. Tonight's topic is about disruption. And disruption has become one of those buzzwords, a bit like being Ubered. When your company becomes a verb, you know that you've arrived. This evening, I'd like to take you on a journey over the next 15 minutes into the hearts and minds of disruptive thinkers. Disruption means doing what others aren't doing and thinking what others aren't thinking. It's about faster, smarter, leaner, cheaper, better. Are you ready to get started? So, yesterday I checked into a hotel. It's great to see that even hotels are now embracing disruption. My hotel had over 9 different types of pillow. Foam, hypoallergenic, feather, goose. To add to that, there were 15 different lighting options. I needed the navigation skills of a Boeing 747 pilot to find the best configuration. It took about 3 hours to switch the lights off. If you travel a lot, you'll be able to relate to this experience. So, let's get started, and I'd like to introduce you to the CTO. You may have noticed that chief executives are getting younger and younger. This is called a child technology officer. Most families have one. I don't think Steve Jobs intended the iPhone and the iPad to be a baby management technology, the baby management tool. So, the speed of change now is truly breathtaking. It's not only people that are being disrupted, it's also our beloved pets. Take a look at this video. Video, please. That's the face of somebody who's been Ubered. And there's a serious point here that any industry and any business is now at risk of being Ubered. We've seen incredible change over the last 10 to 15 years, and that's only going to accelerate. It's very humbling and exciting at the same time to know that this is the slowest it will ever be in our lifetime. I'll repeat that. This will be the slowest time ever in our lifetime. Recently, I got to visit Facebook in Silicon Valley. Its headquarters are built on the former site of Sun Microsystems, which was sold to Oracle in 2009 for $7.4 billion. When you arrive, the iconic Facebook thumbs up is actually on the back, actually covers the Sun Microsystems logo. Now, Sun was once a $200 billion company with some of the most talented minds in business. I asked myself, what killed its growth, and why are more companies dying younger? The age of disruption means 4 things: volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. These are 4 disruptive forces that create tremendous risk, but also tremendous opportunity. One of my favorite facts is that it took the telephone 75 years to reach 100 million users. It took Instagram 3 years. And the game Pokemon Go, less than 3 weeks. Let's take a look at another short video clip. Now we have the Internet of Things, wearable technology, 3D printing. In the future, as a CEO, your job title will not be Chief Executive Officer. It will be Chief Entrepreneur Officer. You need to be a futurist, and you need to think and act like a startup in order to remain viable. One of the biggest paradoxes of the age of disruption is a success trap. The more successful you are, the less likely it is that you'll change before you need to. We've seen some big casualties over the last 5 years, including BlackBerry, Kodak, and even the once mighty Nokia, I remember enjoying dinner in Helsinki with 3 Nokia executives in 2007. This was just after the iPhone, the first iPhone had come out. And the first thing I noticed, these 3 Nokia guys all had iPhones. I swear. And I knew at that point that this story was not going to end happily. Fast forward to 2014, and Nokia Mobile was purchased by Microsoft for $7.4 billion. At its height, it had a market cap of over $250 billion. There's a lesson to be learned there for all of you this evening, which is you need to think about 3 types of boxes. Box 1 is managing the present. We're usually good at that, and we usually commit lots of time and resources and energy to managing the present. But box 2 is about selectively letting go of the past. And that's very difficult to do when you're successful and making money. Box 3 is about creating the future. The reality is that most CEOs spend all their time and energy in box 1 at the expense of box 2 and box 3. So a key message this evening is, where are you spending your energy and where is your talent spending their time? Box 1, box 2, or box 3? Reed Hastings at Netflix, he's a great example of a CEO who keeps disrupting himself before he needs to be disrupted. First of all, it was subscription for Netflix. Then it was video streaming. And now they're making their own movies. One of my favorite stories about the speed of change is a guy called Jan. Hands up if you've ever used WhatsApp. Yes. WhatsApp, Jan, this is Jan, he's 39 years old. He grew up in a rural village, a bit like Guangdong, very poor rural village, just out of Kiev, Ukraine. Had a very humble background, and due to different problems politically, he had to leave the country with his mother, and he never saw his father again. That was setback number 1. Setback number 2, he moved to the US and started a computer science degree at San Jose University. Like most of these entrepreneurs, he dropped out. He dropped out after 2 years. And then he got a job at Yahoo. During this time, bad luck number 2 hit him. His mother got cancer. And by the age of 23, he was alone. No friends, no family. At Yahoo, his luck started to change. And one day he was at the canteen. This is the power of Guangxi. He was at the canteen, and he met a guy called Brian. Brian's 10 years older and became a friend and a mentor. They continued to work at Yahoo for about 10 years, and then they applied for jobs. They applied for jobs at Twitter. They got rejected. They applied for jobs at Facebook. They got rejected. And so they decided to take a vacation, and they went to South America. And sometimes when you're defocused and away from the problem, it's much easier to be creative, to be objective. And during that time, he had this idea for what's up. And then he changed it to what's app. And he pulled out one of his old Soviet books and started to sketch a business model for this messaging app. 6 months in, he wanted to give up. And day after day, he said, look, this is just too difficult. It's too much emotional commitment to do a startup. But his friend Brian gave him support and was there and told him not to give up. He demonstrated a Viking spirit called sisu. Sisu is a Finnish word, and all entrepreneurs have it. It means tenacity, determination, and grit. Sisu. And Jan has lots of sisu. So, fast forward, you remember that he got rejected at Facebook. That was probably one of the costliest mistakes by Mark Zuckerberg. Because on Valentine's Day, 2014, Jan Koum got a telephone call from Mark. And over cake and coffee, they decided to buy WhatsApp. This was just 60 months later. So from 0 to 60 months, WhatsApp was acquired for $19 billion. Now, they only have 55 employees, although I hear they're hiring. Now, to give you a sense of that, what does it mean? The value per employee at Apple is one of the highest in the world. It's about $1.3 million. The value per employee at WhatsApp was $344 million. What Jan did was inspirational because when he signed the papers to become a billionaire, he went back to the social services where he used to queue every week to collect a $100 food stamp to feed him and his mother. That's how poor he was. And so when he signed the papers for $19 billion to sell WhatsApp to Facebook, to pay homage to his mother and his father, he went back to the social services and signed the papers. We can all take inspiration from this because what Jan showed was extreme courage in the face of adversity. Number one, he lost his home. Number two, he lost his parents. And number three, he lost his job. But he demonstrated those bounce-back skills. What can you do to win in the age of disruption? Can I suggest that, first of all, you think 10x, not 10%? 10x is a concept, a mindset. It's a skill, it's a spirit, it's a way of thinking. And it's about thinking 10 times bigger, not 10% more. Most companies think in small 10 or 15% increments. 10x thinking forces you to completely shift your perspective so that you start again from ground zero. Examples of 10x thinking. When JF Kennedy said, let's put a man on the moon in 10 years, that was 10x. When Bill and Melinda Gates started that foundation to wipe out malaria in 10 years, that was 10x. When Jack Ma of Alibaba decided to launch his business to serve over 2 billion customers and help over 10 million businesses, that was 10x. What could you 10x? Is it a supply chain, a process, a service? The simple truth is, in the age of disruption, if you're not 10xing and if you're not disrupting the status quo, well, you're becoming. My final story is about two business builders, pioneers, risk takers, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. Elon Musk has inspired many companies, including PayPal, SpaceX, Tesla, Hyperloop, a transport system that will go over 1,100 miles an hour, and many others. Jeff Bezos, he's also a pioneering entrepreneur. He's actually adopted, one of his daughters is adopted Chinese. Both of them think like startups. For Elon Musk, his number one business principle is not taking a risk is a risk. The number one business principle for Jeff Bezos is every day you need to plant seeds, watch them grow, and be flexible on details and stubborn on vision. Let's look at another short video clip. And this is the future. I'd like to introduce you to the world's first self-driving bicycle. Take it away.
The Dutch cycle more than any other nation in the world, almost 900 kilometers per person. But that also means we have 350,000 bike-related injuries. Now imagine that we would make biking safer, smarter and easier by applying self-driving technology to biking.
We taught our self-driving bike to figure out where it is, what's around it, what will happen next, and what it should do. We leaned on Google's expertise in self-driving cars, but we had to adapt the technology to work on a bike. We decided to add 2 additional features. First, you can request the bike to pick you up wherever you are, and we developed a comfort mode, adjusting the pedals to a perfect resting position.
I think the self-riding bike could really give a boost to the economy because people could also work on their bicycle. You work in your office, you work in your home, you work in your car. You could even work on your bike.
I have so much more time. My kids love it. They're just free. They can go anywhere they want, anytime they want. It's amazing.
At the Fietsersbond, we feel that this is the biggest invention since the invention of the bicycle itself.
At Google, we always put our users first. With the launch of this bike, we believe we do that again.
Now I have a confession. I have a confession. You may have noticed that it said April 1st, and that's Google doing their yearly April the 1st joke. But saying that, there's no doubt that in this age of disruption, where the speed of change is accelerating, science fiction will become reality more frequently. I've recently seen photographs of the first implantable mobile, for example. So we shouldn't rest on our laurels. Let's finish where we started. Are you ready for the age of disruption? I want to leave you with some final takeaways. Remember to adore mastery and reject mediocrity. Be courageous and show spirit. Think big, think bold, and act quick. Tomorrow's problems can't be solved with yesterday's thinking. And finally, this is not the end. It's not the beginning of the end, but it might be the end of the beginning. Don't ask me to repeat that. Thank you very much.